All right, so about a year ago, I put up a story post that said something where somebody was asking me, like, oh, like, why don't you start drifting? And I said something like, I don't know what you guys think I'm made of, but I'm not made of money. Some absolute random stranger that I had talked to maybe once before was like, hey man, if you want, I'll get you started with a car. You can just have a car, and then that'll be like a nice starting point for you. And I was like, for free? Like you want give me a car for free? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, you sure? And I was like, bro, this guy just stole the car and he is trying to like dump it on me now because like he doesn't know what to do with it. So I was like, do you have a title? And he was like, yeah, I have a title. And I was like, can you give me the VIN? And he gives me the VIN and I go straight to Carfax and I was like, and the car's like clean title, no accidents, pristine, Carfax, tons of service records. The car was in Richmond, Virginia, and one of my best friends happens to live 4 hours away from there in a very small town in West Virginia. I'm not going to say the name of the town because then you guys are going to know exactly where he lives. That's how small the town is. But anyways, I hit my friend Mark up. He's a Supra junkyard actually. If you ever need Mark III Supra parts, that's how I met him. I needed parts for my Mark III Supra. He's basically a Supra encyclopedia. But I digress. I called up Mark and I was like, Mark, somebody's giving me a car and it's in Virginia, and do you want to come help me pick it up? And he was like, hell yeah. I was like, Mark, I don't know this guy. And mind you, within like, I want to say like 2 or 3 hours of like me talking to this guy about like, hey, like, what do I have to do to get the car? Where is the car? What's the story with the car? He's like, hey man, like, look, here's a video of me having my foot broken in a jujitsu competition. And he's like some huge ex-military guy, right? And Mark and I are like, I'm 120 pounds and he's 130 pounds soaking wet. And I'm there like, well, even if this is all legit, what if we die in the process, you know? So, anyways, Mark brings us. I book a flight to Richmond. You're not gonna believe this, but TSA lost one of my shoes, and like everything else is here. But where's my shoe? I stayed up all night making this for Mark. Hopefully, he likes it, and a little surprise for him for driving 4 hours away from his place to come help me pick up a shit box in the middle of nowhere. He picks me up in his truck with a trailer out of Target because I didn't want him to go through an airport with a truck and a trailer. Leave Target. We pick up some Krispy Kreme along the way. Because I don't know, like this guy was so nice. So he was such a nice person the whole time that we stayed in touch because he had to like wait for me a couple of weeks to have some time off of work before I could go to Virginia to pick up a car and where I could schedule it. So like Mark was also free. He wasn't like doing anything himself. And he was super understanding and super helpful, and like he was just such a nice guy. Like he was giving me life advice. He gives some great life advice. And anyways, so I was like, oh, like let's pick up something on the way to take to him.
Like, whatever, sure, that sounds like a good idea.
Krispy Kreme is secured. My camera lens is dirty. What a fruity way of sitting.
Fuck you.
And then we drive through this storybook neighborhood. It was one of the prettiest neighborhoods I had seen to date. It was absolutely gorgeous neighborhood in Richmond. The light is coming in through the trees as the sun's getting ready to start setting, and the whole place just looked beautiful, and it looked like it was like part of a storybook. Um, and I'm there with Mark, and we pull up, and we see on the street, like street park, there's a car with a cover on it, and there's a little storybook house just behind it, and there's a man sitting on the steps reading a book, almost like it felt like a movie. Like to be honest, like in that moment, I was like, okay, where's the camera? Like somebody, somebody is plotting against me. Like this is all pre-calculated. Um, but it didn't feel real. It was like such a perfect scenery, and this man's just like beautifully sitting there, just reading a book, waiting for us to get there, and we get there, and the car's real. So We're in Virginia. Don't ask me how this happened, but there's the Z, the free Z. We didn't get mugged, killed, or kidnapped. And now we're off to West Virginia. We load up the car, we start heading out to West Virginia from regular Virginia. That's not a real place. There's and somewhere along the way, Mark's trucks just start misfiring.
See if you can reset it and do it again. Or see if
Open or short in the fuel injector circuit. Poor contaminated connection at the fuel injector. Faulty fuel injector. Faulty engine control module. Yeah. I don't know why it would be saying emissions with it being a fuel injector, but yeah, we'll have to get the fuel injectors looked at. That's like fucking ton of money.
The crazy thing about this is that the truck is showing like an emissions issue, but this is exactly the same thing that happened when we were in picking up the motorcycle in Alabama. So I think I just have really bad luck with trucks. Honestly, like a week prior, I had just done the trip to pick up this thing, and in the process of picking up, I'll make a video about it, but it was like too much. It was like, wow, like God, you're playing me again, you know? So Mark's truck starts misfiring, and we like pull over, we try to figure out what it is, we try to diagnose it, and we still have like 3 or 4 hours to go before we make it to this very small town in West Virginia. And so we call Mark's dad, and you know, like if you've ever been in that part of the country, like you realize that signal is very spotty. So you don't want to be in a situation where you have no signal. There's nothing you can do when you're just stuck, you know. So we're calling Mark's dad, and we're like, "Hey, man, like the car's misfiring. What are we gonna do?" La la la. They have a few trucks, so Mark's dad comes, starts heading out from West Virginia to us in one of their trucks that isn't misfiring. And then somewhere, and we try to keep pushing it through just to see if we can meet each other halfway. At some point, we stopped in like this place that was like a gas station. They have like little rocker chairs all over the front. This is probably like one of my first times visiting like the South or like any part of the Appalachians, and I was like, this is incredible. Like this gas station has an incredible view. They have like real beef jerky inside. Everyone's so nice. And I'm sitting there with my friend Mark, and we're just taking in like the sunset and this beautiful gas station in the middle of nowhere. We keep going past that, and the car again just keeps misfiring, 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 and we're just like limping it. We're limping it, we're limping it, we're limping it. We're just trying to get it as far out as we can. Eventually, we do meet up with Mark's dad. So since this truck decided that it didn't want to do the truck thing anymore, that car's on lit mode. Now we have to fix 2 cars instead of 1. Mark's dad came with another truck, so we're gonna hook up the Z up to this thing, so that we can line up the weight on the car that obviously is on lit mode. We don't want that car trailering another car. It's just, you know, not optimal. Right, so Z is back on a trailer, and we're gonna limp this thing back to West Virginia. We're almost there. Well, we are in West Virginia now, but we're gonna limp it back to Mark's house, and yeah. I stayed with Mark, and Mark and I like kept going on to follow his dad with the truck that was misfiring. At one point, we're like going up like a hill, like an incline on the truck, and the car is like just fighting for its life. We couldn't go over like 45 because the road's like steep enough, and like the whole time like it's like you know, like don't let off the gas, don't let off the gas, and you're just limping the car up a hill. We had no idea if it was gonna make it up the hill, and every time we made it to the top of a crest, it was like just go as fast as you can down. So when we start going up again, you're not, you know, you're not like losing any of that power to make it up that hill. So it was a very, very spicy way to get back to West Virginia. And then when we finally made it to Mark's house in West Virginia, it was so cold and it was super late. It was pitch out black at night. Nah, it doesn't have a window on that door. It has a window. It's just like stuck down. We left the car on the trailer, and we were like, okay, cool. Like it's 10, 11 at night. It's too late for this bullshit. We're not doing this right now. Let's just go to sleep. And that's what we did. We all just went to sleep, and you'll see the next video what happens the next morning.